Hey everybody, how's your Calgary Expo going so far? Woo! Having a good time? My name is Teddy Wilson. I'm one of the hosts at the Space Channel. I work on a show. Oh, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Work on a show called Inner Space, and as a geek, very lucky to have the job I do. And my favorite time of the year is coming to cons like Calgary Expo, and your Expo is about to get a lot better. I'm going to bring out our guest right now. She is absolutely amazing, whether you know and love her film work, everything from Nightmare on Elm Street to Black Christmas, or her work on TV and shows like Harper's Island, or maybe a little series like Supernatural. Woo! But it's also very likely you know and love her for her awesome role as Laurel Lance in Arrow. Please welcome Cassidy.
What's happening, people? Woo! Wow, thank you so much for being here. This is so flattering.
Your first Calgary Expo, right?
It is my first Calgary Expo. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Do you do a lot of conventions, like in the Expo and convention circuit in general?
Yeah, I actually just started to. We for the show, obviously as a cast, we'll go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I did Fan Expo in Toronto, and then I have a few more definitely coming up.
Well, we're going to open it up to the floor for questions in just a second. I believe we have a mic in either aisle. So if you've got a question for Katie, please just jump up and pop in front of the mic, and then we'll try to get to all of you. So don't be shy. Just jump on up there.
No shyness.
No shyness. But I want to ask you right off the top. I mean, how does it feel? You've got your green light for a third season, which is awesome. There's going to be a third season of Arrow. And this second season has been stellar so far. How does it feel to know that it's connected with fans in such an intense way in the way that it has?
I mean, honestly, I'm so honored and lucky and happy to be here, and it honestly is because of you guys. So thank you for supporting our show, for watching it. You know, for me, as an actor, I love to entertain people. So as long as you guys are being entertained and continue to be entertained, I think everybody's going to be happy.
Why has Laurel Lance been a role that you've really loved as an actor? Because it strikes me that I think you could say every character on Arrow goes through a lot, but she has certainly been through a huge amount in her personal life. What's she been like as an actor for you to sink your teeth into?
You know, this season, the writers, they wrote really, really well for me. I'm really lucky, and it's exactly why I love what I do. They gave me, obviously, a very difficult arc this year, but everybody, we've always said, every character has to earn, you know, in order to transform into the superhero that they may or may not turn into. You have to earn it, just as how Oliver earned it by being on an island for 5 years. Now, Laurel, obviously this season, turned to pills and alcohol, and for me, I give 110% of myself to anything I do, and it was definitely emotionally a tough place. All of season 2, yeah. I think I cry in every episode. But it's definitely gonna be a payoff. The season finale is unbelievable. I'm just so happy and so grateful, and thank you guys so much for watching. It's amazing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the show. It's so much fun to watch. Let's open it up. Hello there. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
That's good. So my
What is
question,
on your head?
I'm Sailor Moon.
Oh, sorry.
You do have a sweater
Okay.
on, so
You look awesome.
Thank you. My question is first off, I got to say you were my favorite Ruby on Supernatural.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you to death. But how did it feel getting replaced by his wife?
Well, it's interesting. Let me just say, for the record, they weren't married at the time.
No, okay.
It was actually really tough because Supernatural was my first series regular on a TV show, and I was literally having the time of my life. I mean, Jared and Jensen are so fun and so funny, and they like to mess with me a lot and make fun of me. And I like try and be like a perfectionist because I'm like the new girl there, and I'm like always know my lines, and they always just were trying to mess me up.
How would they mess with you? Like just
They would like make funny faces off camera when the camera's like on me. They would like they would be making like ridiculous faces, like crossing their eyes and like saying the wrong dialogue, and so I would mess up, and I was just always like, stop it. But when I found out that I wasn't going to be coming back, I was definitely, you know, really disappointed. But it's a part of everybody's journey, and if I wasn't replaced, then I wouldn't have be able to be on Arrow and be able to play the role of Laurel. So
Still gotta say, you were
everything
my
happens
favorite.
for a reason.
You were my favorite.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Did Jared or Jensen ever try to mess with you by wearing a Sailor Moon costume?
I mean, they probably would have.
They would have.
Yes.
You never know if quotes you read online are accurate, but I did read in terms of things happening for a reason that you went through fight training to do Ruby and Supernatural, and that you think that might have been part of what helped get you the role as Laurel on Arrow. Is that true, that they knew that you could, if it comes to it, fight?
Yeah, when I met with the producers, Greg Berlanti, Andrew Kreisberg, Mark Guggenheim, we sat down in a room and before I had gotten the part, and I basically just went to town because I wanted this character so bad. I was like, I want to be Laurel Lance, and the possibility of maybe turning into the Black Canary. I was like, I'm so on board. So I went in there and just sold the fact that, yes, I had experience in fight training, but also before that, I was a competitive gymnast up until, I don't know, I think I was like 15. So they knew that physically I was able to do it, if and when that happens.
Do we hope it happens? I think we all hope it happens.
Yes, we hope it happens. I mean, I'm in black leather right now.
Oh! Sir, hello.
So working on the CW's two major shows that have made them like this big network, what would you say was better, Jensen Ackles hackling you or Stephen Amell being a complete clown?
Well, Stephen, it's always fun to have fun on set, but he is very respectful for me, for this season, because I was going through such heavy emotional things that when I was on set and I was shooting a scene where I was either crying or being arrested for drugs or whatever, I stayed in character while I was there, and he totally respected that, which is awesome. But no, I think that all three of those boys, they're troublemakers in the best way possible.
Is there on set anybody in particular, an actor who is most likely to mess with you? Maybe not in an intense and emotional moment, but in general?
David Ramsey. David Ramsey, yes. David Ramsey is hilarious and a lovely man, so good to work with. But it's so funny, we can never really find him. Like when we're shooting, everyone's always like, "Where's David Ramsey?" And he's like off wandering in the woods somewhere. Like, I don't know, but he's definitely the prank. He likes to pull pranks for sure.
Love it. Hello.
Hi, gotta give it to Sailor Moon. She's right. You're the best Ruby, hands down.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Coming, as someone who's aspiring and everything, what is more difficult for you, being a badass like Ruby, or kind of having dark edge like Laurel?
I think that they're both equally as challenging. The only difference is
which one's more fun?
Well, I have to say, as much as I love playing Ruby, I didn't feel like I did enough of it. Like, I wish I could have gotten to do more. With this character, I've been doing it for 2 years, and I'm now 27, and when I shot Supernatural, I think I was like 19. So my craft now, I study a lot, and I go to classes, and I still coach with my acting coach all the time, because I don't think you can ever learn too much. You're always, sort of shifting and shaping your craft. And so I think, playing Laurel Lance, I feel like, as far as acting goes, it's been more of a challenge for me, but more fulfilling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, over on this side. Hi. Nice cape.
Hi.
I really love your shoes, by the way.
Thank you, red bottom shoes girl.
Obviously, I love the red.
Obviously.
My question is, when Sarah came on this season, first of all, how much of a surprise was it? And what was it like to add the sister bond sort of reunion element to Laurel's story?
Honestly, Katie Lotz is wonderful. I love her. Like, she's just down to earth, cool, because you never know what to expect when you don't know what an actor is going to be like, or, she was coming into a new cast. She could have been a diva or who knows, but she was totally cool. She was so sweet. And I have two sisters personally who I'm really, really close with. My sisters are my everything. So that relationship and that bond that sisters have, I could tap into really easily because of my relationship with my sisters. And I don't know if you remember the scene when I come to her and I just say to her, I'm so sorry. I went on that boat with you too, and I see you standing here looking. I can cry even just saying it because the words are so powerful. it's easy for me to access that sort of relationship and those emotions. And the writers, again, like hats off to them because they write so well that they make our jobs easier for sure.
Thank you.
You talked in your previous answer about your acting process a little bit and about training, and I think we as geeks get very interested in that process that an actor goes through. I read online that you actually create backstories for characters when you first meet them in the scripts. Is that true?
It is true. I think, I'm very specific, and I think I try to get down to like teeny tiny little details in after doing script analysis when I'm creating a character, creating backstory. What music did they listen to? What's their favorite color? What time do they have dinner? Do they have dinners with their family? What do their parents do? What's their political view? What kind of, are they middle class? Are they upper class? Are they lower class? I dissect it as much as possible and then fill it with as many details as I possibly can to make the person come alive. I think it's important to have layers, and I think it's important to be filled, and that once you do the work like that, for me, at the end of the day, when I show up on set and we're shooting and when we're rolling, I let it all go, and I try and be present in the scene and listen as much as I possibly can, and I try to just listen and respond honestly, as honest as I possibly can.
What music do you imagine Laurel listens to? She doesn't strike me as like a death metal gal.
No, she doesn't strike me as a death metal gal. I don't know. I think that she listens to, in season 1, it was more of like classical type stuff. And then probably growing up, she was like a sweet girl. She probably listened to pop. She probably listens to, whatever the hits are. She's not like this, she wasn't this dark, heavy metal rocker chick. But, season 2, I would imagine she was probably, I don't even think she was listening to music season 2, to be honest with you. There was no music to be had. She was too busy drinking.
Hello, sir.
Hi. I just wanted to say thanks for coming down to Calgary. It's awesome to have the Arrow kind of crew stepping up and stuff like that and coming over here, seeing as it's Alberta, a Western Canada show, and all that. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I know we all
so
appreciate
much.
it here, right, guys?
Thank you guys so much. Well, thank you.
So I'm just curious. You guys kind of touched on this before, but when you, with the possibility of possibly maybe one day taking over the mantle of the Black Canary, how familiar are you with the subject matter prior to going into this into the show? Because the way you act as Laurel, Dana Laurel Lance, or whatever you want to call her.
Dinah Laurel Lance.
Right. How, when you're really emotional, you really convey her emotion really well through the character. I mean, in the comic, you kind of get that vibe, and you also know she's tough. And I think the first time that your character got her apartment broken into, which has happened way too many times. You probably
I know. By the way, the contractor, Laurel has a great contractor because that apartment has been destroyed many times.
Amazing, yeah. But I think the first thing you did was you kind of turn the corner and you go immediately for a shotgun, and I was like, wow, that's totally like Laurel. So how familiar are you with the because it almost seemed like you knew exactly what she would do in character.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't. Because my character isn't the Black Canary at this point, I want to get ahead of myself. So before I put on the outfit, before that happens, that is when I, along with backstory, but do research and fill my head with as much information as I possibly can about the Black Canary so that I can portray her and you guys will be happy with me. So for me, it's baby steps. It's like, I couldn't be too good with a shotgun because I haven't, and I was pretty good, don't get me wrong, but I tried to still make it look a little bit like an amateur. And I think season 1, there were some episodes where they were like, you gotta stop, like the stunt coordinators would show me like routines before we would go, and then our creator said, stop showing her what to do, because we want it to look real. We want it to look like she shouldn't know how to kick someone's ass, like it's messy. They want it, and so I think I was doing kind of too good of a job at first. So I had to reel it back in, and I'm like, obviously I know how to use a shotgun, but I thought that was pretty awesome. That one moment when I took it in one hand and threw it up, I was like, yeah, this is so badass.
Plus, you're like, my dad's a cop. So.
Right. So I think it will justify itself as the movement begins. I will be learning and getting better and better and better.
Yeah, thank you.
So it'll be more realistic.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Hey, man.
Hi.
Superman.
I have a biggest crush on Laurel Lance right now.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm wondering what your favorite episode to work on is.
The season finale. You haven't seen it yet. But
What happens?
it's so good. I literally spent the whole episode walking around with laughing. I just was like, you'll see. It's a good episode.
Sir.
Yeah. Hi. So in the Arrow, there's always a theme about keeping secrets to keep people safe. So how is it like for you to be kept in the dark? And what would it be different for Laurel if you know the truth sooner?
Well, what's the latest episode you've seen?
2 episodes behind, sorry.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but do you want me to spoil it for you?
Sure.
Laurel finds out who the Arrow is.
Did everybody else
Slade Will-
earmuffs that?
It's been televised. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Slade Wilson tells her. It's a big moment. You should catch up.
Okay, I'll do that.
I gotta ask though, Slade has told her, but does she fully believe him at this point? Because I mean, she doesn't really have any evidence. She's following people around. Is she fully on board with this idea, or is there part of her that still doesn't believe it after this most recent episode, Seeing Red?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how caught up are you?
Yeah,
No, she's putting the pieces together.
right.
Yeah. Investigating. The thing that I loved about this character this season is she had this almost like Carrie in Homeland, right? Her name's yeah.
Yep.
She had being investigating and she was going crazy, but yet she was going crazy. I don't want to say anything and spoil anything for you guys. She was going crazy, but investigating things and finding things out, and now she's clean, but she's obviously found some new information, and she's starting to realize, holy shit, this is serious. This is Oliver Queen is the Arrow. Yeah, she's figuring it out, and then, you'll see what happens next.
Sir.
Since you say you want the role of Laurel Lance so badly, were you disappointed when the producers, writers told you that Laurel wasn't going to be the Black Canary anymore and was being given to Sarah Lance?
Absolutely. I would be lying to you if I said no. But having said that, I tried to look. This is the business. You can't control it. They called me and told me, and I was hurt for sure, because this was a huge part of why I wanted to do this part and be a part of the show. But having said that, I tried to be graceful. I tried to just, I was just like, this is how my time will come one day, and I'm happy to be here. I'm still happy to be on the show and a part of it. And I just was with patience and gratitude, and I just sort of sat back and, waited, still waiting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite character to play opposite as Laurel? Because I mean, you have so many interesting scenes with Ollie and Sarah and your dad. Is there one dynamic that you like the best?
Yes. My father, Paul Blackthorne. Laurel and her father have pretty intense scenes, but I love working with him because we work the same way. We like to talk, our craft is similar, so we'll sit and geek out and talk backstory for hours. And those are the scenes that are so filled and so real. And he'll talk to me because he has obviously way more experience than I do. And so it's an honor to work with him. And he's like, is it okay if I talk to you like this? And I'm like, please, just keep filling my head with you know, imagining like what our Christmases were like, and we just like kind of geek out over it. And so those scenes with him, you can tell, are very, very full. So I love working with him. I love working with Katie Lotson. I mean, honestly, everyone is so great. Steven is awesome. It's just, it really is a pleasure to work with such wonderful people. We're really lucky.
When you're riffing with Paul or with maybe the other actors or the producers of the show on these backstories that you come up with, have they ever matched up? Have you ever had a moment where it'd be like, oh, I said that he went to NYU as well in my backstory? Like, oh.
It's funny. No, that hasn't really happened, but we'll talk about stuff to where we, like, for Paul and I, we'll say, like, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And we'll come up with the same story, so we have the same situation going on. But then all of a sudden you get a script, and for example, in the pilot, I thought my mother, I was like, did she die? Like, we were talking about like backstory and filling the character. And he was like, no, I don't think she's dead. I think she's just out of town. Let's just go with that. And I was like, okay, so you guys are divorced? Yeah, we're divorced. And then I don't know, I thought, I had no idea, but then all of a sudden an episode, I don't remember what episode she shows up in season 1, but my mom shows up and I'm like, oh, okay, so she's clearly not dead. We made the right choice. She's alive. But sometimes you'll find out things in later scripts that you're like, oh, well, I guess my sister isn't dead. She's back too. So your backstory, like, you have to be able to let it go and shift it as information comes in and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Well, Star Wars action.
Yeah. How did you get into acting, and what got you started on Supernatural?
So I grew up with my mom and my stepfather, and I had a pretty normal childhood. I grew up in Los Angeles, but not in Hollywood. Like, people just assume when I say Los Angeles, Hollywood, but I grew up in a small suburb in the Valley. I'm really embarrassed to admit that, but it's true. I was in theater growing up, and when I started going to class, I was probably like 10, and then went to high school, did theater in high school, and then after high school, I made the choice of not going to college and just going to acting school to study and learn. And I wanted to do it on my own merit. You know, I come from a family, third generation, which is great, but I actually didn't grow up with my biological father. So, you know, I wanted to do it on my own, and I wanted to just be proud that I could do that. And I think he is proud of me for doing that, for, you know, having the last name Cassidy and walking into these rooms. For those of you who don't know, my family's in the business. So walking into these rooms for auditions, like, because I come from a family like that, it was almost harder, if that makes sense. It's like there was a they're like, oh, right, David Cassidy's daughter, let's see how good she is. So I would legitimately have to, like, go in there and prove myself, and they would be like, wow, the girl's actually talented. I think they were pleasantly surprised. So I have to say I'm proud of the fact that I've earned it myself, and I'm glad that my parents sort of made me do that, because it makes me more appreciate where I am more.
Cool.
If that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, so basically, throughout season 1, it's so weird hearing yourself on the thing.
That's you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Really echoey. So throughout season 1, there was a lot of conflict and relation between your character, Tommy, and Oliver Queen. And there was a lot of, like, love interest kind of going on. What did it feel like kind of having to jump between the two, and knowing now that Oliver is the Arrow, what would it have been like if you had known that earlier rather than Slade telling you?
Okay, well, so season 1, I have to be honest with you, like, I felt kind of dirty, because I was, like, making out with Tommy, and then I was making out with Oliver, and then I was making out with Tommy, and then I was making out with Oliver, and I was like, there's a lot of making out going on, and I feel like it slide a little bit. And it's not sexy when you're shooting. It's like the most awkward, uncomfortable thing. It's not fun. With people watching and filming and then having to do it like 30 times, you're like, okay, this is enough. And had Laurel known Oliver was the arrow the whole time, I think that, here's my theory. This is just my gut, is she's that much more in love with him once she finds out. She has an understanding of a lot more. And I think the person that she's always seen in him, she tries to see the good in everyone, but then Oliver was this like playboy, but she realized is after the island and now that he's the arrow that he is the person that she is in love with and the love of her life, and I think she just loves him that much more.
And one last thing, I'm pretty sure this is on everybody.
Oh, no follow-ups. No, I'm just kidding.
What's the most frustrating point between working with Manu, Bennett, and Steve and Amell, and are there any funny stories you're willing to share?
You can tell us anything.
They're both tremendous actors. Everybody has their own craft. Everybody does it differently. And I haven't worked with Manu that much, but in more recent episodes, after he tells me who the arrow is, there was this morning I was in the hair and makeup trailer, and my makeup artist was like, "You should have been in here like 20 minutes ago." I was like, "Really? Why? What happened?" And apparently, this is what I heard, I didn't get to see it because it would have been so cool to see. Manu was acting out what he was going to be doing in the scene in the trailer, like on the floor, in the corner, like getting down on the ground, and he was like, "You guys, do you think I should do it like this?" And like saying his lines and like doing the whole scene in front of the whole hair and makeup trailer, and they're like, "What is going on?" He was like doing it for like 15 minutes, but apparently that's his process. You know, he likes to like really get into it, and I can respect that, and so more power to him. That, I mean, for me, like I'm in it when I'm in it, but I try not to scare the hair and makeup department. I feel like they're scared of him. A lot of people, I think, might be scared of him. He plays an incredible villain.
That's awesome. Hey, man.
Yes. One question here is about the relationship between Oliver and Laurel and the potential relationship between Oliver and Felicity. Has that been a sticking point for you, or is that like are they going to go into a love triangle? Do you think that's going to be a plot point in the future?
Well, in the next few episodes, I would just say keep watching, but at the end of the day, Oliver and Laurel are meant to be. They love each other. I mean, come on. Felicity's great, don't get me wrong, but no. It's Laurel.
Thank you.
And Laurel must be getting tired of love triangles at this point, right?
Laurel has had a really rough life. Yes. She's always in these like love triangles, and all these people are dying all the time. She's just like, poor girl, has got a lot going on. Needs some therapy.
Like an all-inclusive vacation or something.
I know, right?
Nice.
Send
Yeah.
Laurel to Hawaii. Yeah.
Start the campaign. Hey, sir.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
First off, I just want to say you're an amazing actress, and I have a huge crush on you.
Aw, thanks. I have a crush on you.
Get somebody
What are
else
you
to have a
doing
love
later?
triangle.
I hope so.
I'm teasing.
So I was just gonna wonder that Stephen Amell, he's obviously jacked, and
Is he?
oh yeah,
Oh, I didn't notice.
I'm sure you did, but I was wondering in the scenes where it's pretty like steamy, do you keep your composure pretty well?
How do I answer this? Stephen is a very attractive man. Don't get me wrong.
I agree.
He's hot. The good news is remember I told you it's really awkward with lots of people around, and it's written that things are supposed to get steamy, and it's not actually reality. It's just written that way. So all the sexiness that you see is actually not there. Meaning, we it's really awkward when Steven's shirt is off. I mean, yes, he has a good body, but I'm not like, oh my God, his shirt is off. I need to make out with you. I'm like, I have to touch him? Okay. I won't touch him because it says it in the script. But Steven is married and has a child, so it's like, you know.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Does Steven keep his composure with you?
You have to ask him.
Okay.
I don't know. There was one time when we were on set and our characters are kissing each other, and it was a flashback and blah, 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 blah. And it says they kiss, and it said there was only one kiss. But, you know, young people in love, we literally threw in like 35 kisses. And Steven actually like pointed out to the crew, he's like, do you notice that it says I kissed her once, but I'm actually kissing her like 7 times? It's like, Steven, shh, don't embarrass me.
Love it. And I assume they added his muscles in post-production with computer-generated stuff. Those are real.
Oh, yeah.
His
Total
muscles.
post-production.
My goodness.
Oh, yes, of course they're real.
Hey there.
My question's so tame now compared to that. Everyone knows you're a big fashionista, Tomboy KC.
Thank you.
Welcome.
If you guys don't know, I have a fashion blog, Tomboy KC. You should check it out. It's really fun.
Amazing. Yeah,
We profiled Willa.
Yeah, and the shoes you put up yesterday were so cute, the lacy ones.
Oh,
Anyway, I was just wondering, with all the fame that's been coming with Arrow, if you've received any fantastic perks because of it.
In regards...
Fashion.
Fashion?
Fashion perks.
Well, I've always been into fashion, but I haven't necessarily had... It's a lot to run a fashion blog. It takes a lot of time, and it also takes a lot of time, if you didn't know, to shoot 23 hours of television in a year. So I have a business partner that I work with, and definitely, you know, obviously people knowing who I am and me being able to tell you guys I have a fashion blog, like, it has definitely helped me with that for sure. You know, we have a big following and we're shoppable, which is awesome. And you know, once the show came out, when I started the blog, so strike when the iron's hot, right?
Yeah, cool.
Why not?
Thank you.
Would you say fashion is what you geek out about? Like, is that the thing?
I geek out about a lot of things. I don't know. I know you guys are a bunch of comic book fans. When I was growing up, everyone's like, were you into comics? And I would never want to say yes when it wasn't really into comics. Yeah. Not that I had anything against them, but I was totally into video games. Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero, Thumb Blaster, hello. I was all over that shit. So I was busy playing Mortal Kombat and Tony Hawk, stuff like that, and I totally will geek out over that too. But yes, I geek out over fashion. I am obsessed with Alexander Wang. I don't know if you know who he is. You probably don't. Yeah, he's amazing.
But you're a big Nintendo gal, you said online, right? You love Nintendo?
Yeah, I love video games. I was really into PC games. Do you guys remember Lemmings? Or Duke Nukem? Duke Nukem. Oh my gosh, Duke Nukem was amazing. And then Roller Coaster Tycoon? Sims? I was all over that shit.
Cool. Hey, sir.
Hi, I just wanted to say first off that I just created the hashtag send Laurel to Hawaii.
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
So
Thank you.
I would share that, and to get to the
I'll retweet it.
Yes. To get to the actual question, first off, are you a fan of Doctor Who at all?
Don't kill me.
Well, okay, then I'll...
Next comment.
Okay.
Next question.
What would it be like...
I'm obsessed with John
Okay.
Barrowman. He's amazing.
Okay,
Amazing.
that pretty much answers my question, so it's all good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm like, don't get mad at me. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'll forgive you this time.
Thank you.
Your question was, are you into John Barrowman, right? Yeah. Hey.
Hey. Whoa.
Hey.
First of all, if those are the shoes you tweeted out on Instagram a few days ago, I'm favoriting all over again.
Oh, yes, they are. You are a smart woman.
I did reply and I said, damn, those are hot.
Aren't they good? I literally got these like 2 days ago.
I can't wear that stuff. I'm already kind of, a little up here, so.
Who are you wearing?
It's good.
Is it
Christian Louboutin.
Oh, it's Louis Vuitton.
Red bottom shoes.
Oh, what do I know?
Come on. It's actually really funny how I got these. in LA, and I had to do an award show there where I was presenting at, and I don't have, my car is in Vancouver, and when I'm in LA, I'm literally like back to back. I have no time to do anything for myself. It's usually like work stuff. So I have a person who works at Saks, who is my connection. He texts me pictures of new clothing items or shoes that they get in, like before they hit the floor, and I just texted him back, sold. Can you messenger them to my hotel, please? And like within 20 minutes, these babies were over at the hotel, and I was like, yes.
Well, my question, if no one kills me for turning away from Arrow, going back a few years, you did a mini-series called Harper's Island.
I did.
Now, I heard up front that going into it, none of the actors knew when their characters were, like who was going, who was the actual murderer. So, spoiler alert, how far into it did you film when you found out that Trish was getting whacked, and how did that make you feel?
Okay, first of all, that was like the most stressful job I've ever had, because you literally didn't know when you were gonna die, and that was the contract. Like, we can kill you. I think we had a deal for like 7 episodes. There was a few series regulars who had a deal for 7 episodes, and then after 7, they're like, if we want to kill you off, you're dead, you're gone. And I was like, okay, let's cross my fingers. I'm actually surprised I lived as long as I did, to be honest with you. Every episode, I was like, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. And they didn't tell me until the episode before, which was Christmas break. I was on Christmas break, and they called, and they're like, so, it was Kareem, one of our producers, who called me, and I just knew it. He called, and I was like, I'm dying, aren't I? He was like, yep. He's sorry, and I was like,
I was rooting for Trish and Henry.
What?
I was rooting for Trish and Henry.
I know, I know.
Henry so much
Henry. Bastard.
And they told you over Christmas that you were gonna die?
Oh, and not only that, we didn't know who the killer was. So Chris Gorham, who played Henry, didn't know he was the killer until like maybe episode, and he and I would always be like, oh my God, who is it? Who is it? Chris and I would like gossip about it and try and figure out, because that person couldn't tell anyone, like if they knew. So nobody knew who the killer was, and I was like, you guys, everyone would be like, it's you, and I'm like, I am not the killer. Like, look at the size of me. I'm not like dragging these bodies all over the place and killing people. There's no chance. And so Chris Gorham, I guess he found out like episode 8 or 9 that he was this murderer. So much for him doing backstory. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't work that way.
And sir, hello.
Hi there. Thank you for last night when you helped me propose to my girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, this man is proposing to his wife, and he took a picture with me, and it said, will you?
Yeah.
On it. And
For the
that's
end.
so cute. That's so nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. Going back to the doctor.
I can't believe I'm a part of it, too. That's so cool.
There's a lot of stars that are part of it.
Thanks. Oh, that was a diss.
I didn't mean it like that, sorry.
It's okay, I forgive you.
Going back to the Doctor Who, how was it working with Alex Kingston from Doctor Who?
She's wonderful. She's a lovely, lovely person, and she actually works the same way as Paul Blackthorne and I. So the three of us, us theater geeks, sat around and talked a lot about family. And then once Katie Lotz came on, she doesn't work that way, or I don't think she has, but once she came on, we sort of made her, because we were like, we're just gonna make you do this because this is what we do, and we're in a lot of scenes together, so she started to really like it. By the way, I just wanted to tell everyone, I don't just have like a tag on my shoe. I actually went and got a tattoo out there.
Oh.
Yes, do you see that? I'm not just like, I had to wrap it up, but.
What's the tattoo? Can we
It's
ask?
an anchor.
It's an anchor? Cool.
I have one on this side.
Oh, wow.
And one on this side. If you guys are like, what the hell is in her shoes?
Near the
They're
bone,
Band-Aid.
too.
Yeah, Band-Aids, because I decided to get a tattoo today.
Ouch. Near the bone, did it hurt?
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness.
But I was just like sitting there responding to an email, hanging out in the convention. It was awesome.
That's wicked. And sir, last audience question goes to you. We got to wrap it up in a sec.
All right. My wife is a huge fan. She follows your blog.
Oh, great.
Fortunately, she couldn't be here. We're expecting twins, so she's at
Oh,
home.
congratulations.
Thank you. So she
Twins
said,
are a handful.
Yeah. Don't know what we're getting.
But that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. But she asked if I was here, and I got the last question, if I could take a selfie with you.
Yes, you can take a selfie with me.
Thank you.
As long, are we Instagramming it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, then I have to Instagram it first.
Sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
So can we figure out how to do that?
Yeah, that's it. We'll maybe get you behind here if that's okay. Could the gentleman come behind? So if you just go over on this side. That was a good negotiation, too, about who.
I know. See, if I Instagram it first, yes.
I just want to ask you lastly, Katie, you got to answer this question honestly. We won't tell anybody, but do you at home, do you have a black canary mask? Do you ever just put it on and look in the mirror and whisper to the mirror, one day? Do you?
Okay. Don't tell anybody this.
Nope.
But one day in the trailer, I may have taken Katie Lotz's mask. And I may have put it up to my face. And I definitely turned her. I'm really close with our hair and makeup people. And I turned to them and they were like, oh, it looks so good on you. And I was like, oh, I know. I definitely had a moment, and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Well, we all hope we get to see it one day, too. Am I right, people? Yeah. And we are so happy to see you today.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
for
much.
doing
You were
this.
awesome. Have
Yeah.
a wonderful time at the convention. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. Katie Cassidy.